bought it off of Amazon a few days ago to get ready for the rally.
It's a strong statement.
Yeah, and then I was going to use the whistle I have here to blow the whistle when he was making the speech to try to be disruptive.
We're in the belly of the liberal beast.
No hate, no fear.
I mean, I have lots of liberal friends, but this is a liberal town, I think.
Yeah, I know what's going on outside. Those are my people. But I want them to find out and understand what makes them feel the way they do, what makes them so angry, what makes them hate immigrants so much, what makes them love their guns so much.
I'm just over here to kind of be a part of this historical thing.
We just took our first Uber ride.
I do not support him at all.
And then I'm here, and I see people, and these people are not weird, crazy, psycho, hicktown people.
Why are you guys such big fans of Donald Trump?
Because he's pro-American, he's
Pro-life.
pro-life.
Because I think he's an awesome president. He has done a wonderful job so far.
He's not a politician. That's the biggest reason. He's doing good things for this country.
Why is it important you be here today?
We'll show support for our president, show support for our country. I mean, no matter what your politics are, I think it's a big deal when the president comes to town. I'm conservative, but I'm just here to show support for the leader of our free country, the best country in the world.
Well, you know, we're big supporters of Donald Trump, and, you know, when you think about it, it's not that we like the guy, it's not that we would spend any time with him, but you know what? He's doing things that are good for the...
So when you say you like what he's doing, what in the last 3 years has he done that you are most happy about?
Jobs.
Economy's booming.
The economy has been fabulous.
I work for a company that manufactures products. Since he's been in office, our sales have increased 15 to 20% over the last 2 to 3 years, and we're a growing company, and we deal a lot in manufacturing, and that's creating the jobs.
I think it's gross the way he tweets and the stuff he says. I think we also have 3% unemployment. I think we have stock markets at record highs. Like, there's got to be something this guy's doing right.
You know, where I work, we've had a lot more business because of the economy getting rolling. And that's led to me working more hours. I was part-time, now I'm full-time plus, doing overtime.
How much of the economy would you credit to President Obama?
It sucked under Obama.
How so? Because he got us out of a recession.
Okay, Obama kept us in a recession. We would have come out of that recession much faster if he had done less regulating, less taxing, let up on businesses, and allowed them to grow and flourish.
You do know that if you look statistically that there were more jobs created in the last 32 months of the Obama administration than in the first 32 months of the Trump administration, statistically speaking.
I would ask you, is it a percentage or is it a number?
It's a number.
Okay. So what's the point behind that?
Trump takes credit for the economy, and a lot of people say he's ridden the coattails of the Obama presidency.
If we hadn't reversed the failed economic policies of the previous administration, the world would not now be witnessing this great economic success.
But on both a quarterly and annual basis, economic growth under Trump has not yet exceeded the best quarters of the Obama years.
I have to disagree with that.
And I think even putting that aside, just the hardworking Americans, the middle class people, the lower class people that aren't getting a fair shake and haven't for a long time.
Do you think that his policies are actually helping the working class?
Yes, I do.
I look at is the big picture, the whole Obama presidency and everything up to now for Trump. And it's no question, if you ask me, I mean, he's way above it. I mean,
Tens of thousands of new layoffs loom because of the coronavirus, with big companies like Disney, United, and American Airlines, even Goldman Sachs, all announcing layoffs.
people who actually don't have any money are the people that support him. I don't understand that either. Did anybody have a tax cut this year? I sure didn't.
My withholding went down about $50 a week, and my actual tax burden went down.
My taxes went up, and I'm just low middle income.
He's cutting regulations.
Reduce the regulations.
Cutting regulations. Why are there these groups of people in the government controlling, micromanaging?
There have been a lot of rollbacks with the EPA that people think are ultimately going to, poison the planet, poison the environment. Are you a climate change believer or not so much?
I believe that the climate is changing. I do not believe that it's caused by human interaction with it.
Climate change is a complete big hoax.
In that yellow line at bottom, NASA has measured a steady decline in heat from the sun since the 1950s. But the red line, the temperature of the Earth, has only increased.
We can only explain that warming when we include the human factor of increased greenhouse gas concentrations, in particular carbon dioxide from the burning of fossil fuel.
I've read the science and I'm not interested.
This is a scientific consensus. Every scientific society in the United States, the national academies of every major industrial nation, there's about as much a scientific consensus about human-caused climate change as there is about gravity.
That's what President Trump heard last month from California's Natural Resources Agency.
If we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
In fact, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
He's wrong, and he's on the wrong side of history.
We take care of the earth properly, and it continues to take care of us. But climate change is bull.
So all those countries that are in that climate accord, the Paris Climate Accord, they're all wrong?
Well, yeah.
The people who follow him just choose to not inform themselves and not do any homework and not really study and find out what's really going on.
If you have to go somewhere for the news of the day, what's your first choice?
Fox.
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax, just like the Russia hoax.
Yes, we listen to Fox News.
Liar, liar, liar. That's the focus of tonight's victory for red.
Because I can't believe a word that comes from CNN, MSNBC, none of them. I don't believe them.
I go to CNN, I do local news, I do ABC News.
CNN is anti-Trump, and you can tell. I think Fox brings a little bit more facts to the table. Still, they are, biased. Definitely, I'm not going to deny that.
He also spent a lot of time hitting the Democrats, the Bidens, and the phony impeachment inquiry.
I search the internet for the subject and I read 3, 4, 5, 10 sources.
YouTube and Reddit, mostly.
New York Times, Washington Post, Minneapolis Star and Tribune.
I guess on the radio.
Mine too. Facebook sometimes.
Rush Limbaugh?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
We are being told that we have to bend over, grab the ankles, because this is the first black president. We've got to accept this.
You know, I hope that people see through the BS and the fake news.
A lot of fake news.
Now, when you say fake news, it's complete lies, or fake news that just doesn't agree with the president's point of view?
I think a lot of it is straight out lies.
Anything you find on the internet, there's a good chance that, it might not be true, but I think I can usually tell.
The things that people will believe really worries me because I just wonder where the common sense is.
A number of its most prominent hosts have downplayed the seriousness of the virus and defended the president's handling of the outbreak.
All the talk about coronavirus being so much more deadly doesn't reflect reality.
I feel like the more I learn about this, the less there is to worry about. I was about to say the same thing.
We're going to call out anyone and everyone who's using this virus as a political weapon against the president.
It's actually the safest time to fly. Everyone I know that's flying right now, terminals are pretty much dead.
I'm sick of hearing the hate. Sick of hearing the hate. I'm sick of them bashing them. I'm sick of figuring out if it's true or not.
Are you in farming?
Yes.
What kind of farming?
Hog production.
How are the tariffs affecting you as a hog farmer?
They were burdensome. The United States doesn't export a lot of things, but we do export a ton of ag products. So if a foreign country wants to get at the U.S., it's through agriculture. In the trade war with Japan or China, agriculture has been unfairly targeted by the Chinese more than any other industry in the United States.
The trade deficit has reached another new high under Donald Trump, a higher trade deficit in 14 years.
And in the meantime, Trump has offered these bailouts, which people are appreciative of. But the flip side, you could argue, well, that's socialism.
Yeah, it's, I don't like taking a bailout.
You got one of the bailouts?
Yes.
How much, can I ask?
Well, we raised a lot of hogs, so we ended up getting over 100,000 this time around.
If not for the bailout, how problematic would that be to your farm?
Well, through the whole turmoil, I mean, it would have been a tough year without them.
So many women have accused Donald Trump of sexual harassment or abuse, even rape. Does that concern you?
No.
The events never happened. Never. All of these liars will be sued after the election.
He was a prominent figure beforehand, right? The Apprentice, his businesses, Trump Towers. How many people came out when he was not president, before he blew up?
You don't believe him?
No, I think they want the attention. I think they're riding on everyone else, like, oh, let's hate Trump. They're Trump, yeah, let's get on that bandwagon. I'll get my 5 minutes of fame. Maybe I'll get paid.
I think some of it is right out lies, and maybe some of it is true. I mean, he's a human being. He's not God. He's a human being.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Though she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You dropped to your knees. It must be a pretty picture you dropped to your knees. She's both unattractive inside and out. I don't think she's got good skin. I don't think she's got a great face. I think her lips are too big. She's gotten a little bit large. As the owner of the pageant, I'll go backstage before a show. You see these incredible looking women, and everyone's getting dressed. They did it with no clothes. So I sort of get away with things like that. I moved on her like a bitch, and she was married. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the... There was blood coming out of her eyes. Blood coming out of her wherever. Such a nasty one. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
He didn't do anything. He said it. Who cares?
And he went after me. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you.
A guy walked up on me and said to me, "Leave Trump alone, forget the story." And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, "It's a beautiful little girl. It'd be a shame if something happened to her mom." And then he was gone.
And then in 2016, in the run-up to the presidential election, Daniels accepted a payment of $130,000 from one of Trump's personal attorneys. This has been described as hush money, essentially buying her silence.
I'm sure he's got skeletons in his closet, and maybe that's some of them.
Footage from 1992 found in the NBC archives shows the future president welcoming Jeffrey Epstein to his Mar-a-Lago estate. They get together more than a decade before Epstein pleaded guilty to prostitution charges in Florida. Both men are seen enjoying themselves, Trump pointing out women dancing in front of them. An apparently friendly encounter with a man the president is now looking to distance himself from.
But that doesn't mean that he's not a good person, that he's not trying to do the right things for this nation.
I could do this all day long.
A raucous campaign rally there in Minnesota.
And we work hard with the Christians. We have tremendous evangelical support. We work hard with the Christians.
He stands for a lot of the things that I think the Christian people believe.
Pro-life. Well, again, I'm sorry, I'm a pro-life freak.
He's appointing Supreme Court justices that may reverse Roe v. Wade. Is that one of the strong reasons you support him?
I think that, Israel, a lot of things. I think the gay, lesbian, even though I'm not against the gay, lesbian people, a lot of them are good people. in my Christian walk, my Christian journey. I just feel that I need to be here to support him. When you hear that he's prejudiced and things like that, there are a lot of black people, a lot of people of color that support him.
Trump will make America great again. Simple as that.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
No, a lot of African Americans don't think so. They think he's racist.
Well, because that's not true. That's not true. That's what the fake news wants you to think. Most African Americans do like Donald Trump.
They do.
Yeah, I know. I'm African American. I know.
He called African countries shithole countries. He went after 4 women of color in Congress. He threw paper towels at hurricane victims in Puerto Rico and then denied them the aid they need. He has kept out Mexicans and wants them kept out, calling them rapists and criminals.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
He's banned Muslims from 8 countries.
Barack Obama should provide the public with a birth certificate.
This was the scene in the liberal college town of Charlottesville, Virginia, when the driver of this gray Dodge mows down a group of marchers who were protesting the rally. He rams into one group, then puts his car in reverse and accelerates, running over several more before fleeing the scene. The driver was caught by our ABC cameras chanting a message of white power. 19 people were injured. 32-year-old Heather Heyer was killed.
He said that the white supremacists were good people.
Very fine people.
The Klansmen were attacked by the crowd. You hit me first and hit your back.
Mr. President, do you want the support of these white nationalist groups who say they support you, Mr. President? Have you denounced them strongly enough?
No hate, no fear. Everyone is welcome here. No hate, no fear. Everyone is welcome here. No hate.
Mexico was supposed to pay for that wall.
I think they will one way or another. I think people are...
The wall's going to pay for itself.
How so?
How so? Because what it costs us to give all these people money, because everybody knows you come to America, you get free money. Well, it's not fair when it's on my back. I'm working 80 hours a week.
Everybody's talking about the border children, which is, horrible if they're being mistreated. But we just read 51.
Like when Donald Trump decided to deprive all of the Mexicans in the concentration camps of the dental hygienic supplies. Why would a president deprive children
It's the American
of
way.
basic hygienic supplies?
No, dude, we just gotta be worse trash.
From any country, they don't know their children. Why would he prevent them? A court order had to be, literally, people had to go to court to get children to have basic hygiene. Do you know how many children have died in concentration camps? I'm sorry for being confrontational about children dying. It's my bad. It's my fucking bad.
Years after the Trump administration launched an official policy to separate migrant children from their parents. And after a judge ordered them to reunite those families, hundreds of kids are still without their parents. And those parents cannot be found.
Some groups are unable to deal with the fact that they have to accept that he won and work within those constraints to maybe still advance their agenda. but he won, he's the president, and now you have to deal with it.
Thank you, Minnesota. Thank you.
Rob Schlosser, 42, a business owner, single, not married, no kids. Grew up southern Minnesota, just outside of Albert Lea, do not have a college degree. I'm definitely an entrepreneur.
I mean, no matter what your politics are, I think it's a big deal when the president comes to town.
Are you still as strong a supporter? Have you wavered? What are your thoughts compared to what you thought a year ago?
I'd say I'm stronger. I'd say we're lucky to have Trump as president. Does that mean that I agree with every little thing that he does? Of course not. Absolutely not. But the fact that he's our president during this crazy, challenging, difficult time, I think we're better off.
He disbanded the Federal Vaccine Safety Office last year.
The president had already begun receiving daily briefings from the U.S. intelligence community. Some contained warnings of a serious contagion with dire economic and social consequences.
Federal health officials said today the coronavirus will certainly begin spreading.
It is not a question of if, but when.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I don't think it's inevitable.
A deadly coronavirus officially hitting the...
Probably will, it possibly will. Whatever happens, we're totally prepared.
Are there words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
Did your national security advisor on January 28th in the Oval Office warn you that this would be the greatest national security risk of your administration?
No, he did not say that.
On January 29th, White House economic advisor Peter Navarro sent the president a lengthy memo warning that there was a risk of massive loss of life. The next day, Secretary Azar warned the president that the coronavirus might become a serious pandemic. The president responded by restricting some flights from China, but not all, and millions of people had already left Wuhan anyway.
The travel ban was an important first step, okay? Was that an all magical solution? No. Was there some things that might have got missed? Absolutely. Absolutely. This wasn't a perfect scenario, and I'm not going to make it sound like Trump did a perfect job, because I don't think he did. Literally, I think if you want somebody to do a perfect job, it'd have to be Jesus. Have to be God. I think any president on this would have struggled. But I'm lucky, I think, as a country, that we had Trump as our leader.
The coronavirus is very well under control in our country. Should Americans prepare for this virus? Should they go on with their daily lives, change their routine? What should they do? Well, I hope they don't change their routine. Anybody that needs a test gets a test. They're there. They have the tests. And the tests are beautiful.
Does the CDC's test for coronavirus work?
Yeah, the problem was when the test was sent to the states, one of the components had a contaminant in it.
Inexcusable, and it set us back for a good month, I would say.
And it's definitely thrown him some curveballs, no doubt.
Nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
I
think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people.
government's not supposed to be out there buying vast amounts of items and then shipping. We're not a shipping clerk. The governors are supposed to be, as with testing, the governors are supposed to be doing it. We'll help out, and we'll help out wherever we can, and we can buy in volume, and in some cases great volume. With the masks as an example, which were really a problem. We have helped out, and there are right now millions of masks being made.
He's just been on top of it from the get-go.
$35,000 people on average die each year from the flu. Did anyone know that? 35,000. And so far, we have lost nobody to coronavirus in the United States.
And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus.
The president telling Woodward one thing, telling the American people and the world something very different.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
He was doing this on purpose, that he decided as a strategy not to convey the seriousness of this.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. And this is their new hoax.
I just think that everybody's going to be exposed to it. I think that all the things that are trying to be done are futile to slow it. I think everybody's going to get exposed to it at some point. We should get over it. I think we're going down towards a path of socialism and control that I don't like.
So do you wear a mask?
No, rarely. I do not know that it works.
His supporters largely disregarded social distancing and mask wearing.
Face masks, these face masks are the most important, powerful public health tool we have. These actually, we have clear scientific evidence they work, and they are our best defense.
This is researchers at the University of Washington releasing a grim new projection. Their model estimates the United States could see nearly 500,000 deaths by February. That is, if states ease more restrictions.
Universal mask wearing could save 133,000 American lives by just the end of February.
The president in the last week has told us that COVID is caused by masks, and he tried to sell us last night that it's caused by blue state governors.
I think the risk for me spreading it to others is, I can't say zero, but it's a fraction of a percent. Most people with the virus won't know they have it.
And you could be completely asymptomatic, but then you can go in contact with your grandma.
You never know. That could be a possibility.
But
yep.
Mama, I love you. I love you so much. You're so strong and you're fighting. I know you are.
It's terrifying to see someone struggling to breathe. You can see the fear in their eyes. You can see how scared they are.
You just don't have what you had before energy-wise.
There's no end in sight.
But it is going away. It's diminished since it's got here. It's not getting worse.
More than 208,000 Americans have lost their lives from the pandemic, and more than 7.2 million have become sick.
217,000 Americans are dead, and 37 states are seeing increasing cases of the coronavirus.
More than 8.5 million Americans have a confirmed case of this. Over 225,000 souls lost.
That is the second straight day of record highs. The United States recorded more than 80,000 new cases today, the most in a single day ever. Here are the latest official numbers from Johns Hopkins. The U.S. averaging nearly 20,000 more cases a day compared to the beginning of the month. This week, 14 states hit all-time highs for hospitalizations. That's new data from the COVID tracking project.
The number of people hospitalized with the coronavirus in the U.S. up by 40% in the past month.
And we're just getting worse and worse and worse at even trying to contain it.
We're rounding the turn. With or without the vaccine, we have the vaccines. They're going to be great.
Have some empathy. Why are you bragging? Have empathy to the Americans that you are our leader.
It is super serious and very scary, but so is shutting down the country indefinitely, shutting down businesses that won't reopen. I think that the damage done with the shutdown is going to be worse than the damage and the lives lost from the corona.
The most successful administration in the history of our country.
So you don't think that Donald Trump is in any way corrupt?
I'm not saying that at all. I think he's corrupt, sure.
It's not about President Trump. It's about what he believes in that I care about.
There's actually a lot of things that I don't agree with Donald Trump, but I'd much rather have him here than any of the alternatives, I guess.
Do you think he really believes in conservative values or values that benefit him?
I didn't think so, but what he's been through and what his family has been through, nobody would do that unless you love your country.
Maybe he doesn't believe any of it, but he's executing it fantastic.
Everyone knows who this man is.
And that means?
World War III. If things go wrong.
What's your takeaway as you go home tonight?
Maybe a little sad, actually, to see these people being taken by this man. It makes me, it keeps me up at night.
His demeanor is awful. It's epically awful. And I'll vote for the guy.
Anything you want to add that we didn't touch on?
MAGA, baby.
Was that
MAGA, baby.